Welcome to The Favorites, the podcast presented by Bet365. We are part of the Volume Podcast Network. I am Chad Millman of the Action Network. Today is our Week 16 episode, the Tuesday episode, where we break down the entire slate of NFL games. We will discuss our exec decision and our Simon Says, start to narrow down the options for our Fave Fives to put in the Favorites podcast $100,000 Pro Football Pick'em contest. Boy, last week blew. Simon and I got a little testy with each other on Sunday night because we were 0-4 heading into the Sunday night game. The Green Bay Packers saved our week, kept us from an offer. They did try their best to let the Seahawks creep back into it in the second half. We turn the page, we fire away, we move on. I was pumped to start making some bets, started to see some opportunities this morning when I was finishing my research. Live from our Tommy John home studios, I'm joined as always by my co-host, my companion, my compadre, my BFF professional bettor, Simon Hunter. Hello, Simon.
Hello, Chad. How we doing?
Dude, you got to keep a good attitude when all this is going on, and it helps when we're coming out of our live event with listeners this past Thursday. And I got to say, I love our listeners. They are nice, they are kind, they are funny, they got great attitudes, they have the right perspective. Everybody who visited with us at the event at the Wicked Wolf in Philly, we had, hundreds of people come. They just have great attitudes and they're just happy to be listening to the show. A lot of them aren't even like bettors. They just sort of enjoy hearing the football talk. I want to thank, I'm sure you do too, the hundreds of people who showed up this past Thursday. Listeners came from Cleveland, from Dallas, DC, New York. Shout out Staten Island, former home of my wife and mother-in-law. We had retirees from Delaware County. We had people come on their date nights. More than one couple I met came on a date night. In the words of Matt Mitchell, we also had loads of Philly scumbags. I truly love Philly and the people there. Great town. Even my older son showed up. Family acknowledgement that I have a podcast. I don't know if you have any favorite memories other than the Simon Hunter family showing up in force, as they always do, for our live events.
Yeah, you tell my family there's gonna be free drinks, Chad. They're gonna be there, so they definitely showed up big time. Yeah, to me, it's just great. Where, especially nowadays, that I don't know about you, but as someone is getting older, and my friends are all having kids, you don't get to go out and hang out with people with the same kind of mindset of just people that love football and love sports betting. So when we all get together with people just the same kind of mindset we have, it's just a good time because it's only other place I get that feeling is at the book. And sometimes they're not always the nicest people at those sports books. So on the other flip side, like you just said, all our fans really friendly, really fun watching the game with them and making bets with them. And yeah, I honestly can't wait to the next time we do one of these live events, just because it's fun sweating bets with people, especially when people are on the same side as you. So yeah, I really enjoyed it.
We actually don't have, as much as Matt Mitchell likes to say, we don't have a ton of scumbag uh, listeners. Like, we have so many people who are like married people with kids, with families who like to bet and hang out. It's so much
Yeah.
fun. It's so much fun to hang out with them. You were giving away cash to people who could answer inane podcast trivia questions. Matt Mitchell did a great job putting together sort of a questionnaire highlighting elements of the podcast, asking fun questions like, who could I beat up? Who is the biggest villain in Philly? What jobs would Simon have been doing if he wasn't doing this? We're going to share a lot of those when we get into future episodes in the off season, so people can hear what their fellow podcast listeners are saying when there isn't football to discuss. But great night, great time. Glad for everyone that showed up. Glad to see everybody and look forward to doing it again. We're going to do another one in the spring. As a reminder, the Favorites podcast is presented by Bet365. And now new Bet365 customers get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5. Sign up using promo code favorites, deposit $10, place a bet for $5 to get $150. in bonus bets. Those bonus bets can be used on spreads, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or older and present in Arizona, Colorado, Indiana, Iowa, Louisiana, North Carolina, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Virginia, or 18 and older in Kentucky. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-BETS-OFF in Iowa. Terms, conditions, restrictions apply. So, like, look, it's no secret. We've been running bad for a lot of the year. It's been a tough year. How about this, though, Simon? If we think things have gone badly for us, and this past Sunday was epic meltdowns of Jonathan Taylor dropping the ball before the end zone and Najee Harris dropping a lateral and God knows what else. David Montgomery injured his knee for the Detroit Lions. He is done for the year. His rushing total for the year was 775.5 rushing yards. As of Sunday, his total rushing yards, 775. That is either a great win for all the underbettors, but the people who will remember it and tell stories about it and discuss it at cocktail parties are going to be the people who bet the over 775.5. Great tweet from Action Network. Can you imagine? That's a gut punch, Simon.
Yeah, that's pretty sickening, but it's also a testament to the sports books who just play the numbers in their computer, right? Where it's like that's the average they got back, and mathematically it's profitable. And we always talk about if you just bet unders on all these season long props, it's a winner. And that's just a classic case of that where they laid a smart number and they got lucky.
Well, we're going to get some luck this week because
Yeah.
that's how we roll. We bring optimism to every single week. Week 16, we talked about the Thursday game, the Broncos at the Chargers. The Chargers are 3-point favorites. I think money's starting to come in on the Broncos because we're seeing the juice a little bit in their favor on this number. So it could go to 2.5 quickly. That was our first lean. Uh, I think part of this, to me, you tell me, was about Justin Herbert sort of looking hobbled on Sunday, especially in the second half.
Yeah, and we just talked about it's really about that and the number, right? Like that's felt like once again too much respect to this Chargers team for a team that I don't know how deserving they are of that respect, right? A lot of what they did earlier in the season, we get it. Like that was really impressive start to the season for this Chargers team, but the injuries, just like Detroit, are going to catch up to these teams, right? Look, we've seen that time and time again. When you're losing key players at key positions, it matters, and it's another spot too where I think professionals like I talked to that like the Chargers here, it was kind of like they think Bo Nix is hitting that rookie wall. And I feel like it's the other way where it's like, isn't this a nice spot to bet on Bo Nix after a terrible start? Like, isn't this where he should do well on a short week? Just get it out of his system. And again, it's such a key number that I was at 3. So not surprising at all that it's come down to 2.5, especially as the week goes along here, like we talked about. It's a short week. Chargers have more injuries. They seem more banged up. I don't know where you're at on this one, but it's like if you can get the 3, grab the 3 because it's a game I'm not trying to bet if I don't have to, but if I'm taking a good number here, it's definitely gonna be the 3 on Denver.
Yeah, it just matchup wise, there's been a lot of talk about the Chargers defense and how good they've been. But since week 9, 28th in success rate. They
Right.
were third first 8 weeks. So now you've got a Broncos interior pass rush where they got multiple players in the top 30 of PFF's interior defensive linemen rankings for pass rush. And the Chargers interior O line does not have anybody that is ranking as high. So there's a little bit of an edge there for Denver. So yeah, if we have the 3, we're going to take the 3. We're going to go with the Broncos. Breaking news out of Kansas City, Houston at Kansas City. Kansas City, as we went on air, the last time I was able to check, Kansas City was a 2-point dog. But as we were talking about this, literally before we hit record for this show and went live, Andy Reid was saying that Patrick Mahomes will have his uh, first test today. He'll do some work today. They'll see how it goes. That will be the determinant in terms of indications about how we can do on Sunday. He also said Hollywood Brown has a chance to play. Simon, you were saying at some other books, this line had already moved to Kansas City -1. I have not been able to check Bet365. Let me see if I can get an update here on
They're probably
Bet365.
at +1 right now for the Chiefs. That's what I think most American books are at right now.
Okay. So yeah.
+1,
Uh,
+1.5 Chiefs.
yep. Yep. You're exactly right. So it's coming down off of that news. Uh, I bet it at 2.5 yesterday. Schefter was reporting yesterday that the Chiefs don't think it's as bad as they were first concerned about. So I immediately bet it at 2.5. That's the ball game, really. Like, are you getting the best of the number? You should probably bet in the Chiefs right now. Maybe you're going to make this as Simon says. I don't know, but feels like that's what we should be doing.
I would if it was still 2.5, because even at 2.5, if it was Carson Wentz, I don't hate that number, honestly, for this Chiefs team against a Houston team, right, on a short week at home. It's like a lot of these advantages we automatically are going to give to this Chiefs team just because something, I think everyone can agree, something just seems off about that Houston team. And, the books opened this at 3.5, and it just got hammered, even when everyone thought it was going to be Carson Wentz. So they moved it 2.5, like you just said. It sat there for a good day and a half. And like I've been betting, I'm sure you have.
Yeah.
Now that it's moved, I would still bet it if you haven't. Like if you like the Chiefs side, why not? Again, if you're scared you missed the number, go ahead, throw it in a teaser then. You can get this up to 7.5 right now at a lot of books in a 6-point teaser. Do it. Like that's a good number. If you want to get real weird with it, pair it with the Ravens if you believe in them to win outright against Pittsburgh that night game. So like there's ways you can attack this if you did miss the value, but I think there's still value here. If it is Mahomes, this gets up to what, Chad? -3?
At
Houston, I mean
least. Yeah.
-3 Chiefs.
Yeah.
So to me, there's still obvious value there. Even if Mahomes is banged up, we've seen him play on injuries before, and it's still them winning by a field goal. So to me, as long as it stays at 3 or under, I'm still going to go Chiefs. And yeah, it stinks. Like we talked right before we hopped on the show, it moved right before we got on. It's like I was looking forward to talking about 2.5 again, just because again, if it is Wentz, I have no issue if you're sitting on a 2.5 ticket with Wentz. I think that's still a solid number. And on the flip side, there's no reason to chase this number for you now. Now you can be patient that if it is Wentz on Friday, this goes back up. You might even get back above 3. It might get to +3 Chiefs, +3.5 Chiefs. So definitely a number where if you missed it, you like what me and Chad are saying, you do think Mahomes toughs it out, grab it now. If you're on the flip side and you want to be on Houston, I would just keep being patient here. Like I could see this keep going down as the rumors keep swirling about Mahomes' health.
Yeah. It's interesting. You mentioned the Texans. They are still not a very good team offensively. And I was listening to Aikman last night, Troy Aikman, and they were talking about coaches and who could potentially coach the Bears. And, they mentioned Ben Johnson, they mentioned Cliff Kingsbury, they mentioned Bobby Slowick from the Texans. And there's clearly something that defenses have figured out when they're defending CJ Stroud. I don't know if you've seen it in all the film study that you do, but they are just defending him differently. And maybe they're playing safeties deeper. I don't know. But this team, even against the Dolphins, and I really liked the Dolphins last weekend. We didn't put them in the contest. I didn't bet them at 3 because it's something about it made me nervous. But this Texans offense, man, Joe Mixon just had just 23 yards rushing last weekend. Nico Collins just 17 yards receiving. The Texans won that game because Tua turned it over 3 times. CJ was sacked 4 times. They only had 3.6 yards per play, only 12 first downs. And this Chiefs defense is significantly better than the Dolphins defense. And defenses have been confusing CJ Stroud, especially on third downs all season. Like, I don't know what you're seeing in whatever you're looking at, but what is going on with this Texans team?
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing from CJ is he had a lot of confidence pushing the ball downfield last year, and that's been gone because of all the hits he's taken from behind that bad offensive line. Like, you can see him either getting rid of the ball early or just taking the easy checkdowns rather than trying to make stuff happen like he did last year. So I mean, again, that's the human part of it, right? Like we talked earlier in the year, Jaden Daniels, you could just tell Jaden Daniels was playing in a way that you could tell he had never been hit in the NFL before. And you saw immediately a shift in that once he did get hurt and hurt his ribs, right? He's played differently since that injury all season. So I think the same with CJ. It just seems like he's someone that was playing free last year, and this year he's taking a lot of hits. He's overthinking, and you're right. Like we've talked about it. We don't like Ben Houston as a favorite. This is another spot. They're still a favorite right now. So it's a pretty easy pick right now for us with the Chiefs.
This is how sad my life is. In the shower this morning, after I did my very aggressive, high intensity 30 minutes of rowing, I was thinking to myself, if Mahomes plays, I've got the Chiefs at 2.5. I bet I'll be able to get the Texans at +3.
That's not sad. That's the best.
Then I'm just
I
middling.
live for a middle. Yeah.
Lift Millman the Middler. That's what they call me. Pittsburgh at Baltimore. Baltimore's a 6-point favorite. This number's come down. Neither of us were scared off by the Steelers' loss to the Eagles on Sunday to not bet them here. I actually waited until Monday afternoon to get the 6.5. As soon as I saw Tomlin say he was optimistic about TJ Watt, more money than tickets on the Steelers. So, it's not a pro Joe split, but there is a higher percentage of dollars coming in on the Steelers. Also, some optimism. George Pickens may play after missing the past couple of weeks. Tomlin said they're going to monitor him this week, which is more than he said last week going into the Ravens. Have you seen anything to make you not want to play this?
No, and honestly, it was pretty funny. Like we did our Sunday show, and I led off with just doing in a row the Thursday to Saturday games, and we basically just said each one we like the dog. Each number has come down, so
I know.
pretty shocking where the favorites have been so good that these dogs have moved the other way. And yeah, our simple view of this Pittsburgh number is like it's too big, and especially in a matchup where they've always played really well against Lamar. It's one of the few teams that knows how to make him kind of a just terrible day. For some reason, he's uncomfortable when he plays against Pittsburgh, and he tends to struggle. Obviously, the key to that is what you just talked about, TJ Watt. Like, I am 100% with you on that one. If he is a game time decision, whatever it may be, we could put this one in. I wouldn't put it in if that's what we're playing with. Like, if we have to lock this in, I wouldn't risk it knowing that we're betting a Pittsburgh team that might be down their number one D end and their number one receiver. Like, that is a lot to overcome. And yeah, amazing stat from Evan. Lamar 0-5 against the spread versus Pittsburgh. So me and Chad, I mean, we got lazy with this one. We always just bet Pittsburgh in this spot. It feels like the same here. Like 6.5 was a great number. You can still find there's one really public book out there still sitting on 6.5. Buy it. Why not take it? And if you do get scared off, buy. Or you can try to do what I just told you. Try to middle it. Take the teaser. Ravens tease up the Chiefs right now. Like there is value here to this middle because it does feel like the kind of game where the Ravens are going to win, but they'll win maybe by a Justin Tucker field goal. Like it'll come down to the last possession. That's just how these two teams play. It's just, again, we love to bet the dog, especially Tomlin in this spot. We expect him to bounce back after that embarrassing loss to the Eagles team. So yeah, Chad, it's a game I love, but if there's no TJ, I don't think we'd put in our contest.
Simon, like last week with Cleveland and Kansas City, where you said very specifically, avoid it. It's gross. And yet somehow I snuck it in. I'm putting this one only if TJ Watt is playing, which I agree. And if he's not, I might try to buy out of it.
Well, I just think they'll screw us on the number. If he's not playing, I bet you it goes back to the 6.5. I could easily see this being 5.5 in contest.
Yeah. And it was a clunker. Like the Steelers, they had 5 minutes possession in the first half, right? And there was going to be inflation on this game when they played as badly as they did against the Eagles. And Lamar was throwing 5 touchdowns against the Giants. And I will say this about the Steelers. They were terrible. If not for that Najee Harris dropped lateral, they were down 20-13. They may have been tied or down just 4 midway through the third quarter, and that really changes the game.
Yeah,
It
and the
really
Tomlin
does.
punt too. Tomlin punted on the Eagles side of the ball, and what was it? Eagles had a 10-minute, 11-minute
Eagles never
drive.
give it back.
Right.
They
So
literally have the ball for 10 minutes, 20 seconds.
that was a bad Tomlin game, I think, overall.
It almost feels like, we were nervous about that and nervous about that game and nervous about the Chiefs game because we were betting into the trends that we knew they couldn't last forever. And I feel like in both cases, it's like we popped a zit and it's like there's just so much, it's all been relieved and we can go back again now. You know what I mean? We're,
Well, the
we're
funniest
we,
was when I said Pittsburgh Sunday night. You gave me a look of like, I'm just happy you said it because I can't say anything right
I
now. It's
would
like,
not
no,
have wanted to
this is
say
the
it.
right spot for Pittsburgh.
All right, let's look at a recap of our Week 15 in the Favorites podcast, $100,000 Pro Football Pick'em contest. Congratulations to Week 15 first place winner Michael Stimpert. Michael went 5-0, got within 6 of the tiebreaker, takes home our $1,000 weekly prize. As always, producer Matt Mitchell has selected his Producer's Cup Award. To the entry that finished dead fucking last in the contest, this week's Producer Cup Award goes to Mark, to you, who went 0-5, missed the tiebreaker by almost 500 yards. Mark, please email our producer at podcast@actionnetwork.com to claim your prize. Cleveland at Cincinnati. Cincinnati's a 7-point favorite. Kevin Stefanski would not commit to Jameis as his quarterback. I will not commit to betting on the Browns. I cannot commit to betting on the Bengals as 7-point favorites with a defense that gave up 14 to Will Levis and 13 to Mason Rudolph. Can you?
I don't know. It's tough. What are we going to do here?
Pass?
All right. Let's
Do you
pass.
have an opinion? I don't have an opinion. Like if I'm playing a number, I want to play Cleveland. But like Jameis cannot help himself. He cannot help himself but throw it into triple coverage in the end zone when he's got an easy field goal to keep his team in contention in the game. It's I don't know how to help him.
Yeah,
Neither is Kevin Stefanski.
it just sucks. Even if it's DTR, like I want to bet Cleveland, even if it's Jameis or DTR, because no matter what, they're gonna be able to move the ball. We already know that against the Cincinnati defense.
Yeah, they're terrible.
What you just said though is the issue for me is that what happens on the turnover side, like what burns us, and has Cleveland just totally given up at this point? Because that second half looked like a team that had nothing going, no spark at all. Even defensively, like they had a couple of big time stops, but overall, it just felt like a total nothing game where they just didn't want to be there. So, like you said, the number, everything about it, I want to play Cleveland. I don't have it in me, Chad, to ride it for another week.
I don't either. Not for the contest for sure. I also feel like there's other games that we're going to like more. I do think
Yeah.
we can find 5 games that we like. Simon, there's been much mistletoeing and hearts have been glowing when the playoffs are near. That means the holiday season is upon us, and with thousands of 5-star reviews, let's make the gift of Tommy John our newest holiday tradition. It's lovely weather for a pair of great fitting underwear, and as our listeners know, Tommy John helps deliver those special Kringle tingles all year long. Simon, why will you be giving the gift of Tommy John this season?
Because it's the gift that lasts.
That's right. There's still time to throw downfield with Tommy John and become the greatest gifter of all time, but time is running out. Go to TommyJohn.com/favorites right now for your last minute holiday gifts. 40% off just in time only at TommyJohn.com/favorites. Very interesting game. LA Rams at New York Jets. Jets are 3-point underdogs. On Sunday night, we discussed liking the Jets. I'm very surprised that the money has come steaming in on the Rams. This is a pros Joe split with tickets on the Jets, money on the Rams. This move, it's not at 3 at Bet365, but it is at 3.5. I mean, it's at 3 at Bet365, but it's at 3.5 at a lot of other books. Are you surprised at the move?
No, I mean, I'm surprised to know that more tickets are on the Jets because it's like this is the definition of the public hammering the Rams, and the pros will just bet the Jets. So there's a couple games like that this week that's like, I'm sorry ahead of time. People like me, Chad, might have to force to win the contest because it's just a glaring number movement where it's like this should probably be closer to a pick, maybe minus 1.5 on the Rams. And we're just getting a ton of value here just because, you know, this Rams team they've had some big wins in prime time spot in games where it's like, you know, last week people are just going to check it up to the weather, right? Stafford threw 3 interceptions that were dropped. Like, there's no beating around that. Like, he had a bad game. They stole one. Now the public's rewarding them. Like, it's just a very bizarre scenario. On the flip side, you know, as much as I want to shit on the Jets coaching staff for that end of the game, overall, Rodgers has looked better as he's gotten more comfortable with the weapons on the team. Like, that was totally a game where, you know, if Devontae Adams wasn't on that team, there's no way they cover that number. Like, Devontae Adams literally took over that game just because of him and the Rodgers connection. So that's a way that they can easily attack this Rams secondary. We've seen this Rams secondary is just young, inexperienced. Now they're going up against a veteran like Devontae. Even if Devontae Adams obviously doesn't have the game he had last week, that's going to open up everything else in the offense as well. Like, we've already talked about that. So, yeah, I hate it because I wanted to avoid this Jets team. But now, like you just said, now that it's up to 3.5, you can't avoid it. There's too much value there. That's such a good number. You have to take the Jets. This line stinks for a letdown spot for this Rams team.
After going 35 games without throwing for 300 yards, Aaron Rodgers went over that against Miami and finished with 289 versus the Jags. He has looked mobile. He's been evading the rush. He's been accurate on the run. He's been connecting with receivers downfield. I already made a note. We've got a Rams pass defense that is bottom third of the league,
Right.
rush D and overall yards per play that is bottom 5, not bottom 5th of the league, literally bottom 5 in the league. They're missing some key players. I feel like we're going to be in the foxhole. Like, I don't I don't understand sort of the money coming in on the Rams here, because it is like they've won sexy against the best team in the NFL in the Bills, and they won ugly against their biggest rival in a must-win spot. So I don't know what guys are betting here. Are they betting the Stafford McVay versus Rodgers Ulbrich matchup? That's the only thing I can think of, is that they like the coaching quarterback mismatch more than they like the number.
Yeah, just the Rams are a better team. I mean, I'll have to check, but I'm pretty sure they're leading their division now. So maybe that's the view
Yeah,
of it,
they are.
like, well, they're playing. People view that as they're playing for more. They're leading their division. This Jets team is playing for nothing, coming off a win. You expect them to have a letdown here. So I get their perspective. Also, extended rest for that Rams team, but yeah, I just think they're just overvalued, a little overrated right now.
All right. Speaking of overvalued and overrated, are the Philadelphia Eagles overvalued and overrated, visiting their division rivals, the Washington Commanders? At Bet365, this is 3. There are a lot of 3.5s out there. We discussed it a bit on Sunday night. I want to take the hook here. Is this Simon Says?
It is. Simon Says Washington 3.5. And you just nailed it. It's all about the number. We talked Sunday night. We loved it at 4. We knew it was going to come down because it was just a way too inflated line. And it's going to be 3 by kickoff. Like, this is another game.
Oh, yeah.
Pros, Joes. Like, the public is going to hammer this Eagles team that, you know, not that this is their last tough game on the schedule, right? They end with, I think, the Cowboys and the Giants. I guess that could be tough for them in some ways. But this is the type of game where if the Eagles somehow do win it, they're not winning by more than a field goal. Like, this is going to be a really ugly, close, low-scoring game. And last time they played, Washington was in it until they made a couple little stupid mistakes. And obviously the Eagles just opened it up in the second half on them with Saquon. So, you know, we've seen time and time teams that see another team the second time around, it's just different. They know how to play each other, especially a playoff team like that Washington is. So we talked about it Sunday night. That was a dumb number to open with, 4.5, and it was open that high because Commanders should have lost one on a terrible ref technicality. I don't know if you saw that clip of that ref
Yeah.
stopping the clock when he shouldn't have. And the flip side, the Eagles just blew out in a game that no one was betting on them, right? Everyone was on the other side. So it's like the public tends to overadjust to those type of moments where they got rolled by a team. They come back in heavy on the other side the following week. So yeah, the unfortunate part is this number has moved so much. If you can find the 3.5, find it now. This is just a number I can see get the 3 by Sunday. It's just the pros are
Dude,
going to keep hitting it. Once again, it's just all about inflated lines and taking the value, and that's what this line is. It's just inflated right now. This Eagles team is really good, really talented. Divisional games are just different. They simply are. So that to me is the defining point here.
it'll be 3 before we end this live show. It's at 3. We're anywhere that it's 3.5. It's, you know, 3.5 minus 120.
Mm.
So it's going to move, and it's elevated VIG every single place that it's 3.5 plus 3.5. So it's going to be at 3 before you know it. So yeah, if you want it, Simon says, grab it. Arizona at Carolina. Carolina's a 4-point dog. We're back at it with the Carolina Panthers. Finally, they're underdogs, so we don't have to be tempted. Good for us that we did not put them into the contest this past week. We rode them as dogs for several weeks. We jumped off this week. Dave Canales, coach of the Panthers, has been saying that his starting quarterback is week to week. He announced yesterday Bryce Young will be the starting quarterback. He did not have a great game. 4 turnovers. You know, the defense could not guard CeeDee Lamb. Micah Parsons was dominant. I think he had 2 sacks in the game. Just was all over Bryce Young, forcing fumbles. It was a regression game for him. I don't want to put this in the contest, but I lean Panthers here.
No, I actually love Panthers here. I think it's a good number. I have this at 3.5. It's 4.5.
Really?
Yeah, again, it's not one like we're not getting 2 points of value. It's nothing crazy, but yeah, I love the way this Panthers team plays offensively, and especially the way they match up for this Cardinals team defensively. Cardinals are a team that they'll basically let you drive up and down the field. They just can stop you in the red zone, and we kind of seen since the Panthers have come back from that bye week that it feels like that's one of the things that's really improved with Bryce Young's game is his playing style inside the red zone, his decision making inside the red zone. So, like you just said, that was the worst game they've had in weeks last week, and that to me is the nervous part, Chad, where it's like, did they get a lot of bad habits once again? Did Bryce Young get some bad habits again last week and that are going to carry over to this game? Because Arizona, as much as we like to beat up on them, they're a playoff, basically a borderline playoff team that's been overall played pretty well this season. Like they're a team that, if Kyler shows up, they would probably be leading their division this year. Like he's had a lot of games where he's disappeared. So, me and you going into this know the deal. Like Kyler could easily burn us back in this Panthers team. Like if he has a Kyler game, because Panthers defense is terrible. Like, I
Terrible.
mean, they made Cooper Rush look like an all pro last
You
week.
look at I've talked about these next gen stats, and there's 24 different metrics that you can compare team to team. And you look down the columns, Panthers defense, 30th, 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 30th,
Yeah.
30th, 30th, like literally for every single one of them.
No. And it's like, and they don't, there's no way of hiding it because we already talked about it. I think it was Derek Brown. Like they've lost some key guys early in the year that like they already were thin. They lost basically their best defenders, and it's like only gotten worse. So yeah, that's why your hesitation here, Chad. I get. There's other dogs I like more. It's just I'm basically playing the model and my faith in the Panthers, where it's like this Cardinals team. We've seen it time and time again now. If Kyler doesn't show up, they could easily lose these games, and the fact that you can get plus 175 right on the money line of the Panthers just feels like it's too inflated for this Cardinals team.
I For a second there, I thought you were going to say you loved Arizona, and it's been such a weird year that if you had said that, I honestly, it would have made me feel worse than any time we had contradicted each other the entire year. Because then I just would have felt like I, I, I might as well be throwing darts.
Yeah.
Because if we're not on the same side about Carolina, then what am I even looking at right now?
I do have some chalk favorites I like, but yeah, that's not the one.
That's honestly how I would have felt about that game. That's where my confidence would have gone. I might have had to hang it up. Tennessee at Indy. This is a very weird game. Indianapolis is a 4-point favorite. The If I'm looking at this right in the Action app and on actionnetwork.com, where I can see the betting ticket splits and the money splits, the public, meaning the tickets, are coming in on Tennessee, but the money is leaning Indy. And I don't know if you're seeing this as well. I don't know if you're feeling this way. Like, are people fading Anthony Richardson, who reverted back to pre-benching days and against the Broncos was completed just 44% of his passes, had 2 picks? Like, are people banking on Tennessee starting Mason Rudolph? What are you seeing here?
Yeah, I would say that it's definitely Mason Rudolph to me that like they want to, because we already talked about coming into last week. That was historical what Tennessee's done, them not covering. I mean, Evan
Yeah.
obviously has the number, but like it's rare and unique. Teams only have 2 covers, whatever they're at this point through the season. Like usually the books over adjust just to because they know that the public's going to keep fading that side. And like this honestly, I want to be on the Colts. I'll be honest, Chad. Like coming to
Well, so do
this,
I. But like, I can't.
are we really going to let Mason Rudolph scare us off? Though that's what I was going to say to you. Are we really going to let that screw us here?
No,
Because
no. Honestly, it's not Mason Rudolph to me. It's why did this number move down? Like, it moved from 4.5 to 4, which is great, but the money is on the Colts. So why would bookmakers move this based on the public liking the Titans? That's
no,
not
I thought it was because of the Mason Rudolph Will Levis thing. That to me
okay.
is that's what I thought the movement was. Like I know it's not much, but I have him a full point better than Will Levis. So like to me, this should keep going. I think it should be at 3.5. Which again, right now I'm showing value on Tennessee. I should be betting Tennessee, I know, but we've talked. This Colts team has just been better all season at home, especially Anthony Richardson's been better at home in this. So yeah, it's just. I'm honestly shocked that anyone's even betting the Colts. I thought everyone was going to be like us, really pissed off and burned about this team. But, you know, like we say, Chad, just got to burn the tapes and move on. So I'm not trying to overthink it. And I wanted to be on the Colts here, but you're right. Maybe I'll just avoid this one because, like you just said, it's historical. This Tennessee team, like eventually it's going to come back around. They're going to start covering some of these games because it's just no team. I mean, Evan probably has better numbers than I do, but yeah, the fourth team in Super Bowl era to be 2-12 against the spread or worse. So this is something we don't see, Chad. This is historic. Since the Super Bowl era, this is the fourth team to be this bad. So that's my fear here is like we know it's going to come back around. Like they're not going 2-15, right? Like they're going to cover one or two of these ones at the end here. So you're right. Maybe I should just avoid this one.
Well, I'll leave it on the list. We can see what happens over the next 48 hours. We're certainly going to get some sharp calls about it because people do like the Colts here. And, you know, maybe we're willing to go back into the fire. If Jonathan Taylor has the courage to get back on that field, to go back to practice after a rookie mistake and an epic meltdown that I really do believe that cost his team the game. I haven't watched Shane Steichen's press conference post game, and I haven't sort of looked for his quotes about that in the last 48 hours. But I did watch Sean Payton just because I love Sean Payton. I think he's, brilliant and funny and one of the more honest coaches. And he couldn't even find the words to talk about that Jonathan Taylor drop of the ball before he got into the end zone. That's it. That's the game. They're down 13 points, the Broncos. We're winning our bet. Bo Nix was having a terrible game. That was just epic. So if he can do it, we can do it. That's
Burn
how
the
I feel.
tapes. Burn the
The tapes.
tapes.
Burn the tapes. Detroit at Chicago. Guess what? Guess what, Simon?
You're gonna
This
try to
number has
get me to
moved.
bet the Bears again?
No, 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 no. No, 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 no. This line has moved from 7 to 6.5. So somebody is betting the Bears.
I bet they are.
And it was my first instinct. Um, but then I remembered how horrible the Bears rushing defense has been. And I'm thinking, even without David Montgomery, the Lions will want to take out their frustration on someone. And this, like, Caleb Williams, when he's throwing it, it looks like he's trying to throw the ball through a brick wall every single time. No touch, no arc, just a laser, absolute laser every single time he lets it go. I'm sure the Bears are the right side here. I don't think you want to touch it. I don't really feel like I need to touch it. I think the Lions have something to prove. They need to win. I think the Bears are they're just trying to survive for the next 3 games.
Yeah, 7.5 would have made sense. I'd probably
Not
have
six
been
and a
okay.
half.
That number makes sense. 'Cause I believe it was 10.5, and then went down to 9.5 on that Thanksgiving game. And we joked that game. If just one of those field goals by Detroit, I think they kicked 4 or 5 field goals in that game, was a touchdown. They cover that number like
Yeah.
that. The Bears just got. I think we all realize it now. They had a crazy stretch there. They got really lucky, really fortunate, and it broke their way. And yeah, the Lions defense is so banged up that if this was 7.5, I could have been convinced because it's like we'll have an opportunity for the back door, right? At some point. I mean, it's obviously on the books mind because you just said they moved it down now to it's in the spot where every teaser in the world is going to have the Lions on their side. So that's the thing where it's like I old mean Chad would be hammering this Bears number. Like this is the trap of all traps. Like Lions, I mean, from my perspective, I feel like they're going to win this by 20 points, right? Like you just said, Dan Campbell's going to take out all of that on them this week. And, that was the Lions, in my memory, their first loss since that Bucks game. And we remember we backed them the following week after that Bucks loss.
They've won 11 in a row.
Right. So that, yeah. So, you expect a major bounce back spot here, but it's once again comes down to the injuries, Chad. Like when do the injuries catch up to them? So maybe this is the one favorite we get in because I do love the line, especially at 6.5. But it's like, oh man, all the injuries they have, it's just hard for me to put a number on this Lions team right now. It's like I know how great they are, but the problem is, can they get stops defensively? And me and Chad have a little PTSD. We were up, what was it, 21 points at half with this Lions team, and we got
Yeah.
backdoored by this exact Bears team. So it is tough.
Well, I got a different favorite that is a huge favorite that I
Okay.
want to see. I wanted to see if I could entice you a little bit. But yeah, I think the Lions they win this going away. The Bears are a terrible, terrible football team. They they really can't stop the run. And they can't protect the passer and they can't stop the run. So one thing, even if the Lions can't pressure the quarterback, they will be able to run on this Bears defense, right? And
I mean, you'll agree, since they made a coaching change, they have not looked prepared in either game.
no, as soon as Thomas Brown stopped being the offensive coordinator and started being the head coach, they are, what are they losing? Like, is it 34-0 in the first quarters? Like, it's pretty, honest to God, it's embarrassing how bad it is. So we'll go back to it. I put it on the list. We can discuss it on Thursday. Uh, New York Giants at Atlanta. Atlanta is a double-digit favorite. Not surprising how many tickets are on the Giants right now. 64%. And the game opened at 10. Is double digits a digit too far? Is that what the public is saying to back the Atlanta Falcons? Have we reached the tipping point? The public, not even the public, will back Kirk Cousins as a 10-point favorite.
I agree. We would be hammering this number if we didn't think the Giants might have quit on the season. That's the fear. It's like they are so bad in so many different ways, and they've had such brutal injuries this season. And like, do you know who their quarterback is this week? Is it Drew Lock? Like, is it Tim
Drew
Boyle?
Lock, is it Tim Boyle? I mean, that's the problem. Is like I'd love to hit the Giants right now because the Falcons really shouldn't be 10-point
No,
favorites against anybody.
no.
But I
I
want to know who's
mean,
playing quarterback.
people are already talking that they're going to cut Kirk after this season, which is just crazy to think they'll eat all that dead cap money. But I guess because the success of the Broncos this season, the success of the Bills, what they've done with all that dead cap money, that maybe they're just like, no, you can make it work. No, it's terrible. That's why I hate this number, Chad, because it's like it feels too easy. Like who is taking Atlanta -10? Like Kirk
Nobody.
Cousins, right? But people are like we've seen it now. Like people are putting this in their teasers, their parlays. Like they're hammering this Atlanta number because everyone just thinks what we just talked about, that the Giants have given up and quit in the season. But yeah, another line that's extremely tempting. There's another huge dog this week that I do not like at all, but this one I could be tucked into. Like if you came in here on Thursday and you're like, it's 10.5 now, and it's Drew Lock. Like we know it's not Tim Boyle. We know it's going to be Drew Lock, who would be shocking because I think he had a walking boot in his foot like a week ago.
Yeah.
I'd be in. I honestly would be in on the Giants team, but if it's Tim Boyle, I don't think I can get there. Like he's a fourth stringer. He's the guy that you bring him in as an insurance policy. He was never supposed to play, but now he's playing. So I can't do it if it's Tim Boyle.
How crazy would it be if we're going to the mattress with Drew Lock, who we promised ourselves when he was in the Broncos we would never bet on again? This is what the bookmakers do to us.
Yeah.
They give us such tempting numbers.
It's an insane number.
It's an insane. It's not even tempting.
They're plus 400 to win outright.
It's a challenge. They're challenging us.
Oh my God, I love it though. And it would be so Giants too to win this game and get rid of them having the number one pick. Like they're the type of team that would do that.
Oh, I have no doubt over the next 3 games, they're going to win a game, lose out on the number one pick. And then the Giants ownership are just going to fire Daboll and Joe Shine. That's what's going to happen.
Probably should have already.
Minnesota at Seattle. Seattle was 3 at Bet365, but at least when we came on the air, they were at 3.5 at some other places. I'm just checking the update right now. It's 3 across the board except for one place. I bet it at 3.5 this morning on Seattle. I think there's too much Sam Darnold love right now. I think even before the Bears game, the conversation was about how he is going to get paid, how amazing he's been playing, what a career resurrection. Should the Vikings find a way to keep him? He beats the Bears in prime time, and there's more fawning about how amazing he is. He did throw 16 incompletions. And the Vikings line, I do think, is in some serious trouble. Cam Robinson had a terrible game playing against a weak Bears defensive line, letting guys get by him, a lot of false starts. Brian O'Neill, their right tackle, in and out of the game, injured. He was sort of the guy keeping it together. And this Seahawks defensive line is just much better. Leonard Williams, especially this year, has been amazing. And Sam Darnold just keeps the ball for so long, letting his routes come open down the field. It's Pro Joe's game. Tickets are on Minnesota. Money's on Seattle. I like the Seahawks.
I agree, just because once again, it's another game that's all about the number. Like we're gonna have basically 3 games and we love because they're all 3.5s, but it's all numbers I really like and matchups I like, right? You just talked about this Vikings team. They deserve all the respect. Like this fan base, everybody, like, only really, really smart professionals, which I am clearly not one, believe in this team heading into this season, and Colin Cowherd, I should say. And for their reasons, I just didn't understand where they really thought that Kevin O'Connell could solve this whole Sam Darnold thing. And like you just talked about, when he doesn't have his best games, Chad, he still makes these big-time throws this season. Like he has all season when they needed him to come through. And, I can't tell you how many games they've had this year that have been coin flip games that they somehow won. And now they control their destiny. They can be the fucking 1 seed. It's pretty crazy the spot this Vikings team is at, from having, a 6.5 win total to they might be the 1 seed with a nameless defense and Sam Darnold running the offense. It's bizarre world, but it's why we love football. And it's, reason here. I wanted to be on Seattle for what you've just talked about, that I knew this Vikings team was going to be inflated, especially after their win on Monday night. And we talked about it. They're coming off a short week, having to travel to Seattle. But we don't know the update. I don't know if you have an update, but I don't.
Geno's playing.
So the word is that he's going to play.
Yeah.
I would need to see more than that, though, because he basically had one of those. If his leg was planted, he's getting a new ACL, MCL, right? Like the way that guy shot right into his knee. I don't want to call it a cheap shot because I guess the guy was falling at the time, but it was one of those, they've changed the rules because of it. And they didn't call a flag on the play because apparently he was airborne. One of his legs was in the air. But yeah, this matchup for this Vikings team, we have enough data this season. They just play close games, right? Overall, that's most of their games are one possession games, and we've seen that in the second half when they've gone off game script, they've tend to struggle. Now it doesn't has not hold true these last couple of weeks, right? Sam Darnold has been great in the second half for a lot of these games, and they've drove the field and scored a lot of touchdowns. But heading into last week, we saw Seattle's defense had kind of improved those last couple of
Yeah.
weeks. So it's a tough one, Chad. We're at 3.5. I agree with you, but once this dips to 3, 2.5, I kind of like the Vikings, honestly, because I do think they are the better team. The same thing I felt with Green Bay last week. It's like your division is so good that when they get outside their division, they've just been dominating the competition. Like Detroit, Green Bay, Minnesota, they've been incredible outside their division. So, yeah, it's all about the number here for me, Chad. 3.5, I am totally on board with you. I'd put this in the contest, but the way the professionals are betting this and they're hitting this number, it might be down to 2.5 come contest time. So it'll be tough for us to get this one in.
I think it will be down to 2.5. By the way, this is one of 3 games that I had as my exact decision. And I I pulled off only because even though Gino is playing, like I'm still a little anxious about it, like you
Me
said.
too.
Um, Also, you can't get like I want to give a game where I know the majority of the places are offering the number that I like, and nobody's really offering the 3.5 anymore, which is what I bet it at. So it did not make it as my exact decision, but we will get there. Simon, can you name the best ticketing app in the United States?
Game time.
That's right. It's our beloved sponsor, Game Time. Everybody knows how much I love going to live events. I especially love it during the holiday season. I love making memories with my family and friends going to live events any time of year, but it's especially fantastic during the holiday season. The other day, we were on Game Time checking out NBA games, Knicks and Nets games that my son and I can go to during the holiday season because we want to catch more games together because we've had so much fun on our sportacular events. I'm in the app right now. And look, I'm looking around and it can be the perfect gift to take someone you love to an event. I might end up going, let's say I want to go to the Yukon Huskies, see them play. I got a top 11 team in the country. I got the 2-time defending national champs. I'm getting in for $50. My favorite part about Game Time, they're all in pricing, shows me the total cost up front, no surprises, no matter where you live. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code favorites for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code favorites. That's FAVORITES for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. New England at Buffalo. Buffalo's a 14-point favorite. Simon, we have taken one massive number this season. Will this be the second one?
I don't. Am I a sucker? I love the Bills. What's
So
going
do
on
I.
here?
I love them.
I
Love
hate
them.
that though. Isn't this too easy? But then we
No,
overthought it last week. We knew the Ravens was probably gonna be too easy. And it was too easy.
Simon. I love we loved the Lions a few weeks ago. We made the Lions a -10. I forgot who it was against. Our big balls bet of the week. Maybe it was
oh,
actually
that was no. We had them -14. I think they were
minus
12 and a
14 against the
half.
Titans, right?
Yeah.
Like Gerard Mayo is now just going out on press conferences and throwing his offensive coordinator under the bus. I would not be surprised if that's the tipping point for the Patriots to just say, screw it. We're going to get Mike Vrabel and we're rebuilding this whole thing from scratch because they're so disappointed in that and this team. And he did not handle that well. Like I, Josh Allen is a double-digit fave. Doesn't scare me. He's covering that number at 54% at home. It's a bit higher if the spread is 14 or more. Obviously, the sample size on that is tiny. Um, I don't see this team letting up. I think they're having too much fun. I think he's gunning for an MVP. He just saw Lamar toss 5 touchdowns against the Giants. Um, I am not afraid to bet the Buffalo Bills here.
Yeah, and again, I already know I'm gonna get a lot of texts from a lot of pros being like, "What about all the injuries to the Bills defense?" And my pushback would be they're coming off a Rams and Detroit game, like two of the class of the NFCs that are just, you know, those are really high-powered offense. We don't have those same worries with this New England team, and the Josh Allen factor, like you just talked about. We've never seen a quarterback play at this type of level these last couple of weeks. Like, I don't know if the stat I saw was true, but it was basically that he had 17 touchdowns and 0 turnovers in the last like 4 weeks. Like, it doesn't even sound like real numbers, but that's how dominant he's been offensively. So you're right. It's really a bet on. We know they're going to get points offensively. Can this Bills team get stops against Drake May? We expect he should. Obviously, the fear for us would be this is a nice rest game for this Bills team, right? They don't need to go all out. Like, there's no reason for them to really blow this team out. But I still think in the back of his mind, Josh Allen's pushing for the MVP. I just can't see him stepping off the gas. Like, he's going to, yeah, right. Offensively, I feel like him and Joe Brady are just going to keep pushing it. So I'm with you. I like it. It sucks that it's such a huge number. Like, it just feels so gross to do. But I personally have this at 17.5. It's 14. That's a lot of
Jesus.
value, but it's like, man, this is such a huge, huge number for a divisional game. But I think we both can't avoid it, right? I think we both love this Bills side.
Uh, Matt Mitchell, feel free to weigh in the chat or vocally as our resident Buffalo Bills super fan. Uh, how are you feeling about this game? Do you have fears? Will you yell at me if I make this my exact decision? Because this was one of the 3 games I wanted to make my exact decision.
I guess my only concern would be weather. I haven't checked it one time. It's a
Mm.
big number, but yeah, I'm not feeling particularly anxious about this. And the vibes are indeed strong. Also, it's their first time back home in a little while, so I think there'll be quite a celebratory atmosphere among the uh, scumbags of Western New York. God bless them. Yeah, no wind, very cold. Looks like
Very
so.
cold.
That's also going to be something of a problem with these freezing under 20 degree at kickoff kind of games. Um, but yeah, I don't know how you could feel excited about taking New England.
Buffalo Bills, executive decision, -14. No fear. It's weird. I started researching it and I'm like, what is this sensation I'm getting where I want to back the Buffalo Bills at -14? The other game on my list, San Francisco at Miami. Miami,
Yeah, so I thought it was going to be this game.
it was Miami's a 1.5 point favorite. We talked about a Sunday night. I was leaning Miami. You were intrigued. The tickets are on San Francisco. The money is on Miami right now. Um, to me, the strength of the Dolphins is their short passing game. Top 4 in EPA per play for passes under 10 yards, time to throw under 10 yards, fastest in the league. That's where the Niners defense is the weakest. What has your research shown you? Are you feeling similar to me?
Yeah, honestly, we talked Sunday night. I liked the Miami with you, and it was just really about the number. I mean, I personally thought my model would have it at -3. It doesn't. It's only -2. So I think it's in locks up a lot of professionals viewing that, this Miami team does kind of suck, and that, as much as we bash this 49ers team, it's going to come back the other way. And we saw that last week.
I
Like,
know.
if they catch one of those picks by Stafford, if Debo catches one of those passes, they're favored in this game, no doubt. I mean, they're probably a -2.5. We're getting great value on Miami. So that's my pushback here, is that we're not getting a great number. Like, this number feels pretty right. Like, both these teams incredibly desperate for their playoff lives. Kyle Shanahan is the teacher here. Like, he's going against the student and his former coach. And we've seen that kind of work in Shanahan's favor in the past. But yeah, it's just all the injuries to the 49ers, I still feel like there's value on this Dolphins team, especially once again, if there's no Trent Williams once again. We've talked about those numbers with Purdy. Like, he's a different quarterback, especially when he's worrying about the blocking protection. And Miami sneakily has a pretty good pass rush. Like, they're not a team that doesn't have guys that can get out. I mean, Chop Robinson, say what you want about the kid as a rookie. He's kind of turned it around here the second half of the season. So, yeah, Chad, I don't know. Maybe we'll come around more so on Miami on Thursday. But as we sit here right now, I still like them. I'm not going to force to be one of our 5, but it's like I am really intrigued with this game and this number just because I think there is value still in this Miami side.
So the reason I didn't make it my exact decision and I leaned Bills is something you just said in the middle. It feels like the Niners get a pick, and this is a different number. And I feel like the books are saying to me, take the short favorite. That's what we want you to do.
Right.
And even though the money has been coming into Miami and I like seeing that I'm on the right side of the wise guys right now, there's something about it that is keeping me from sort of exuberant, irrational confidence.
Well, it's come down. It did touch 2.5, Chad. So your initial read was right. We did our show Sunday night. Monday morning, at one point, it touched 2.5, and then we saw professional money hit the 49ers, and it came back down to 1.5, 1. So it is a pretty split game. I will say that.
All right, there you go. So my spidey senses are tingling that it's not perfect for me, whereas the Bills, as soon as you said you've got this at 17 or 17.5, and we're at 14, I'm like, yeah, all right, that's what I needed to hear. Jacksonville at the Las Vegas Raiders. This line is flipped. It's gone from Jacksonville +1 to Raiders +1. I don't know. Like I guess like we take the Jags, but I don't want to do anything with this game.
That's fair. Yeah, I bet the Jags. I threw them in a couple teasers because it was +1.5, and you're right. Like a couple books have now flipped it. The Jags are favorite, which we talked about was going to happen Sunday night. If you want to avoid it for right now, I'm fine with that. I might have a better opinion come Thursday because, people clearly can tell I love Mac Jones and this Jaguars offense right now. They're just a fun team that can move the ball, and vice versa. This Raiders team just looks dreadful, totally quit. I mean, miracle cover last night. I think they had 3 field goals to get the back door. They're just terrible.
And they had there were multiple special teams miscues, block kicks, block punts. Like it's a pathetic team. We can talk about it again on like in my notes. I'm like, Mac Jones is irrationally confident.
Yeah,
for a guy who is named Mac Jones. Do you know what I mean? He swaggers, he walks around like he owns the place.
Oh, but when he's barking at these D linemen who could snap him in half like a twig, I'm just like, this dude's the fucking worst.
Yeah, he's such a punk. But
it's all about perspective too, though, right? Because when Josh Allen does it, I'm like, oh, this guy's fucking hilarious. He's the man. But when Mac Jones does it, it's like, shut the fuck up, Mac Jones.
Josh Allen is, 6'11", 400 pounds, and runs like a gazelle and has a cannon for an arm and is going to win the MVP. Mac Jones is a guy who alienated his teammates. In New England is now a backup on the worst team, one of the worst teams in the league. So Tampa Bay at Dallas. We both leaned Dallas on Sunday night. The line's moved in that direction. 4.5 to 4. Is it 3.5 in some spots? It's 4 at Bet365. Like, Dallas is clearly better with Micah Parsons. He's been a menace since coming back. 7.5 sacks since he came back. Here's the wild card to me, which I don't think is getting discussed enough. Deron Bland, their cornerback. He came back from a fractured foot a month ago. With both of them in the lineup, they're 3-1. And now, in context, that loss to the Bengals kind of looks like a fluke.
Yeah.
They seem to like Mike McCarthy, haven't stopped playing for him. We like the Cowboys on Sunday, just on instinct. I still like the Cowboys.
Yeah, model backs up too. This number should be 3. It's 4, 4.5, like you were saying when it opened. Now, if you're lucky, you can find a 4. There's only a couple books left that still have the 4 out there. Like this going down to 3, 3.5. I know people are going to be like, oh, these guys love all the home dogs this week, but it's all about the numbers, right? Like we're getting a lot of the threes with the hook, and we're seeing that we're ahead of the movement, right? The numbers are coming down. So clearly we're on the right side of professionals. And yeah, every pro I talked to had the same view as us, right? They're hitting the 4.5 on the Cowboys just because Tampa was a little inflated because of that win they just had the week before. And should they have beat the Chargers? Sure. Should they have blown them out by double digits? No, that feels like a kind of a fluky game overall. So looking at this matchup with Tampa, me and Chad, we've given them a ton of flowers, right? They're a very complete team. As an Eagles fan, I don't want to play them in the playoffs. Like if Baker's hitting it right and this defense is clicking with a lot of the guys they had who played in past Super Bowls and they're a veteran defense, they're a pretty scary team. But this is the exact spot they let down. Like we've seen it time and time again with this Tampa team after big wins, they kind of have let down games. It's crazy looking back to Chad that they lost those games to Atlanta, where it's like Kirk has been terrible all season. For some reason, he just would blow out this Tampa team in those 2 games they played. But yeah, like early in the year, me and you took different positions on Tampa, and most of the times we took them were after big wins to fade them. Right? It wasn't even when they were healthy at this point. Right? Like they upset Detroit, a game that burned us. Me and Chad were on Detroit that game. We hammered the Denver the following week, which looking back is kind of funny. But Denver went down there and smoked them, right? I think they won 27-7 or 26-7. Like they killed them. Okay, the next week they beat the Eagles. The following week they had a huge letdown game once again against Atlanta. So we've seen time and time again when they have these big wins, these like really tone-setting wins, they've had letdown games the following week. So we don't know what kind of game we're getting from Baker, but overall I feel like this Cowboys team with Cooper Rush, they kind of know their identity here, which is just force feed CeeDee Lamb. Like basically run the same playbook they had with Dak, but even more so. Getting the ball in CeeDee Lamb's hand makes him make plays. And I don't really see anyone on the cornerback side that can really slow down or stop CD in this matchup. So I like us always to be in it. I like us to cover this backdoor, this number, or even win outright. Like this is a game I'll throw in our money line Robin. Like Cowboys to me, they're a live dog right now.
I couldn't agree more. This just in from producer Gifford. Jerry Jones just said on the radio, he promises this is real. So I'm entirely depending on Gifford. I've eaten a lot of raccoon. It's not uncommon at all. One of my favorites is squirrel. It's wonderful. My mom and I would even ask for the brain of the squirrel. Delicious. Seriously. Jerry Jones today on the radio. Go Cowboys. New Orleans at Green Bay. Green Bay is a 13.5-point favorite. Is this the game you were talking about, a big favorite you like, or was it the Bills?
No, that was the Bills. This game, I honestly want to avoid. I was going to be on Green Bay, but this feels like a letdown spot for a Green Bay team that's about to literally go through just a juggernaut. Like they have, a Vikings team on deck that I feel like they know is that's the game for them. So, yeah, this is tough. Like I was trying to find a way to get on this Green Bay team because they've honestly been so good to me, but knowing that this is coming up as their last tough game of the season against Minnesota, it's one that's going to define their playoff seeding. I could just see this being a letdown spot. And yeah, we don't even know who quarterback is of New Orleans right now. If it's that rookie once again.
Well, it's supposed to be Spencer Rattler. But here's the thing. I would
avoid it. If it's Spencer Rattler, I'd avoid it.
That's what I would say. I want to avoid it because of Rattler. Also, Alvin Kamara might not play. Like he left that last game with a groin injury. And he is not, there's no update on his status. So we don't know if he's playing.
That would actually be a big deal. That would honestly push me towards Green Bay just because he has been the lifeblood of that team. Like he is, he's been incredible this season. And it's just a train wreck. Everything is just so bad right now in New Orleans. It's like they know they're tempted with this number 13.5, just keeping it right under 14. They know what I want to do here, but I'm doing my best to fight it off.
Are they tempting us? Or are they challenging us?
That's true.
I think we got a good list for Thursday. A lot of home dogs, couple of favorites. We got a big favorite with the Bills. Really fascinating to hear what the wise guys have to say on Thursday with sharp calls. As a reminder, the Favorites podcast is presented by Bet365. And now, new Bet365 customers get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5. Sign up using promo code favorites, deposit $10, place a bet for $5 to get $150 in bonus bets. Those bonus bets can be used on spreads, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or older and present in Arizona, Colorado, Indiana, Iowa, Louisiana, North Carolina, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Virginia, or 18 and older in Kentucky. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-BETS-OFF in Iowa. Terms, conditions, restrictions apply. Simon and I will return with our next episode of The Favorites on the Action Network YouTube page, 11 a.m. Eastern, Thursday, to talk Week 16 best bets. Download us from Spotify, Apple Pods, wherever you get your pods. Rate, review, subscribe. Leave us 5 stars. Say whatever you want. Feedback is a gift. Till next time. Love you.